Welcome back to a new video. These are the 3 subjects that I learned. Yeah, I learned them. I don't really remember the exact period that I learned them in, but I learned them, and that's what counts. So first, International Space Station. Lots of people might know about it. It is very big. But you might think that it's not the biggest thing that people have sent into space. But that's actually false. It's the biggest thing that anyone has ever sent into space. And it orbits the Earth 90 minutes per time that it orbits. So, yeah, that's a space station. And now moving on. The moon. Lots of people might know about it. It's a circle. Lots of people have landed on it. More like 10 or 12. It's very small. And if you look at it, you actually will see it as how it was 1.5 seconds ago. Let me correct myself, 1.5 light seconds ago. And there's a new way to say time, and since I'm going to be showing you space, and it's light seconds or years, the fastest speed known to mankind. But it could still take a while. And yeah, that's the moon and the sun. Same with the moon, you see. Why can I not speak English? So, with the sun, you see it as how it was 8.5 minutes ago. You might, light minutes ago. And you might think, oh, Bad Cat, this all sounds crazy. How would this even be possible? We just see it. And it's there in the present. But that's actually wrong. And by the end of this video, you'll see something that would take us 13 billion light years to get to it if we were traveling at light speed. And that's longer than the Earth has been alive. So, now moving on. The solar system. Lots of things. The Sun, Mercury, Earth, Venus, Mars, Saturn, Neptune, Jupiter. I don't want to say that. But there's also the asteroid belt, with tons of asteroids in it. And that's why there's such a big gap in between Mars and Jupiter. And this tiny thing, and this tiny dot, is our solar system. Can you believe that? That this dot is this solar system. Can you believe that? You probably can't. And all of these tiny dots, we even zoomed out a bunch farther. These tiny dots are all planets. So, they're exoplanets. Yeah. And this sphere are radio signals that we sent into space. And you might see that there are some exoplanets inside the radiosphere. So maybe some extraterrestrials are listening to us right now. Could be true. childhood. That's my cat. And this tiny dot right here. Don't mind him. So this tiny dot right here is are the radio signals. And this is a black hole. We're not that close to it if we used feet. So yeah, I did not mean to do that. And this tiny dot is this black hole. Can you believe that? Why do I keep on saying that? Because you probably cannot. Can you stop? And these are all black holes. And they all are here. And you might think that it looks like we're in the center of it all. But if you were to zoom out from any of those black holes, it would look the exact same. And what I'm about to show you next is the thing that is going to that would take 13 billion light years to reach. And this is the cosmic microwave background. You could search it up and it might not look like this, but this is one of the photos. And you might be wondering, how did you get all these photos? And to be honest, I don't really know. Okay, now on to the next subject. Hanukkah. Now, in Hanukkah, I prepared videos, but I'll show you that at the end. But first, there are dreidels. You could search up dreidels. And these will show up. There's a way to play it. You spin the dreidel, and you have chocolate gelt. You all put one in a pot, and you all have an equal amount. And then you take turns spinning the dreidel. And if you get shin, you put one in of your chocolate gelt. If you get hay, you take half of what is in the middle. And if you get gimel, you take all of what's in the middle. If you get nun, you get nothing. What I mean by that is you do nothing. Okay, next subject. Menorahs. In Hanukkah, you have a menorah, and you always light this one in the center right here. And every 8 nights of Hanukkah, you put a candle in each one. So say it was the 6th day of Hanukkah, you put one here, one here, one here, one here, one here, one here, and one here. So you get the point. And then every night you could go somewhere or get presents. And that's what this slide is for. And then there's chocolate gelt. The thing that I was mentioning in the dreidels. There's a wrapper over chocolate, so you basically get chocolate coins. So yeah. And then there's Mensch on the bench. How's it going? Boring on the bench, Mr. Mensch. And then there's Menorah Moose. I have one of these. And you can also activate some of the lights in his menorah horns. And then there's the density test, the last subject. The density test, you can try this at home if you'd like to, is basically this. You can all read it when you get home or try it. So yeah. And that's it. But I will show you the videos. Okay, here's the Hanukkah story. Give credit to this guy. He made the video. Okay.
Hi, this is Peter Jacobson. I'll be reading the story of Hanukkah, adapted by Jeremy Frank.
Just checking something.
Long ago in the land of Israel, in the center of the walled city of Jerusalem, there stood a beautiful temple. Outside of Israel, though, there lived a very wicked man named Antiochus, the king of Syria. The king did not like people who had beliefs different than his own.
You know, when you hear this, it kind of sounds like the king of cereal.
And so he went around the world forcing his religion on all the people he conquered. When Antiochus and his army invaded Israel and took it over, he decreed that only his gods could be worshipped. He made the Jews swear that they would give up their religion and customs and follow his instead. He also commanded that all of the Jewish temples be converted or destroyed, including the beautiful one in Jerusalem. Those who refused to follow Antiochus' commands were to be severely punished. Some Jews obeyed Antiochus out of fear, but others were brave enough to refuse. Judah Maccabee was one such man. Judah and his brothers were all strong fighters who formed an army of their own to fight King Antiochus and his men. Although they were greatly outnumbered, the Maccabees fought the Syrian army with all their might. With the strength that only comes from fighting for something you truly believe in, Judah and the Maccabees defeated Antiochus and his army and triumphantly reclaimed the temple in Jerusalem. However, when they entered the temple for the first time, they were shocked to see it in shambles. The golden pitchers were all tarnished, the marble floors were cracked, and there was no oil to light the menorah. They began cleaning the temple, removing every sign and symbol of the religion that had been forced upon them by their invaders. As they worked, they found a small container of oil. They all knew the little oil they had would only be enough for one night, but then a miracle took place. Instead of going out, the lamps kept burning and burning. They burned for 8 days and 8 nights, and this way the Maccabees knew God was with them. That is why we celebrate Hanukkah every year, and why we light 8 candles in our menorahs. The end.
So yeah, that's the story. But I'm not done. I need to show you the song. Okay, here's the song. And give credit to this guy.
Hanukkah, Hanukkah, come light the menorah. Let's have a party, we'll all dance a hora. Gather round the table, we'll give you a treat. Dreidels to play with and latkes to eat. And while we are playing, the candles are burning low. One for each night, these shadows we light to remind us of days long ago. Shadows we light to remind us of days long ago. Hanukkah, Hanukkah, come light the menorah. Let's have a party, we'll all dance a hora. Gather round the table, we'll give you a treat. Dreidels to play with and like us to eat.
So yeah, that was the song. I take it you like the filters and might have thought it was funny. Okay, I'm done. Now, goodbye.